So this weekend, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went on a tour in the middle of the country to help fellow progressives, just Democrats in specific. And she brought along a guy you might recognize, Bernie Sanders. He was in Kansas along with her. She went on to go to Missouri as well for Cori. What we did at the Young Turks is two things. One is we streamed all three of those rallies on facebook.com/rebelhq. I hope that you guys caught that. Whenever you see that there's a progressive event going on, go to facebook.com/rebelhq and you will likely see us streaming it. The second thing we did was we shot some behind the scenes footage and we wanted to show you some of that. So the first stop was James Thompson. He's running in Kansas. He is in a district that is more red, but he nearly won last time. And so he's got a ton of momentum, a lot of volunteers, etc. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders stopped there first. In fact, that rally wound up being so large they had to move the venue because 5,000 people showed up. They did not expect that in the middle of Kansas. So here's our behind the scenes footage from that.
As you can hear right now, there are thousands of people outside in the Century 2 Auditorium in Wichita, Kansas, getting fired up for the Unite for America rally.
We must have gotten off at the wrong stop because people told me that Kansas was a Republican state. Doesn't look like that.
The momentum is building, all for James Thompson, the Thompson Army, who's here to unite for America so we can elect him into Congress.
By the way, I'm going to give you the websites for all these folks. I want to go to James Thompson right now. You know, they've made 160,000 calls in that district. They are working so hard. So you got to be there for them. You got to support them, whether it's volunteering or it's donating. He's had 1,600 people volunteer for him. They knocked on 40,000 doors, I should say. They don't do donors, big donors at least, no corporate PAC money. So James' website is votejamesthompson.com, and there's how you can volunteer, donate, you could phone bank. All these things make a big, big difference. He needs help in the primary and then the general election. The Republicans are going to spend a ton of money against him, but unfortunately, Democratic establishment guys also spend a lot of money on campaigns during the primaries. Now, which brings us to Brent Welder. Brent Welder is in a district that actually voted for Hillary Clinton, but they have a Republican congressman, Kevin Yoder, one of the most right-wing guys there is. And that district also overwhelmingly voted for Bernie Sanders in the caucus. So it's perfect for Brent Welder, and he's doing great. And we'll talk about all of his volunteers, et cetera, in a second as well. But I want to show you behind the scenes footage from that as well.
Everyone, we're now in Kansas City, and I want to introduce you to a friend I met on the way. Hello!
Hello, everybody. She's doing great.
Thank you to you, Cenk, and TYT, and all the progressives around the country that have our backs, because we feel the wind's behind us every single day on this mission.
It takes those early people who believe that can really be the seeds of this movement, and that has been the Young Turks, that has been the people who have supported this campaign. Make sure you carry Brent through to the general election. TYTkansas.com. Every action matters, every dollar, every phone call. Make sure you support him, because we're going to flip this seat in November and no one's going to see it coming.
All right, excellent. Thanks a lot for it.
Okay, you got a great candidate here. Make sure he gets over the finish line. We need him in Congress.
With Alexandria's help and with Senator Sanders' help today at this rally, we're going to be able to get the message
Did
out.
I hear my name being mentioned?
Oh no! Here comes Bernie Sanders!
Hey guys.
It's like I'm interviewing Batman and Wonder Woman, and then Superman shows up.
Our campaign says, yes, we can.
All right, that's a nice spin that Brent has on the yes we can. He was an organizer for Barack Obama as well. So he says, yes, we Kansas. And that is exactly why Bernie Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez went down to Kansas, to make sure that they send the message not only that Democrats can win in Kansas, but progressive Democrats can win in Kansas. In fact, their message is more popular. That's why Brent is winning. But the establishment is about to spend an ungodly sum trying to defeat Brent Welder. Last reports I saw was they're going to spend at least $400,000 to try to take out Brent Welder, even though he's got a 7-point lead against the Republican incumbent. It is maddening what the establishment Dems do. Go support him at tytkansas.com. Go support him in every way you can. Let me show you all of his website, brentwelder.com. You can volunteer, you could donate. By the way, that rally cost $15,000. It's really important in getting the message out. It worked brilliantly. Not only did we cover it, but so does CNN, HuffPo, and the list goes on, but they do cost money. So make sure that you guys help out. So now last one is Cori Bush. Cori Bush is also running against a Democratic incumbent in her case, as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was. She's got 600 volunteers. Hashtag be the first is what they're doing. And so incumbents are hard to take out. So that's why Ocasio-Cortez went there to help her fellow Just Democrat, Cori Bush. So let's take a look at the behind the scenes footage we got on that one.
And what I want to say is that no person is the future of the Democratic Party. The future of the Democratic Party is not a person, it is a people.
It's not just about me. My hope is that the fire that I have, as I'm speaking, that fire is released into you and to you and to you. And so now, if all of us are going saying the same thing, if all of us are loving on one another, if all of us are going saying, it's no way you're pushing us back, we're going to resist, we're going to fight until we get what we need. That's how we change St. Louis. That's how we change this district.
I love it. That's Justice Democrats United all across the country taking on power. Cori Bush, if you don't know, was one of the organizers of the St. Louis protests. Here, that's her websites. VoteCoriBush.com. You see the volunteer and the donate pages. These are so important. She needs to raise $50,000 to be competitive in that race. It is against a powerful incumbent who is way too conservative for that St. Louis district. And Cori was out there in the front lines in all the protests that you saw in St. Louis. By the way, that's why the Just Democrats asked her to run. Same thing with Ocasio-Cortez. Was on the ground helping her own community, and Just Democrats went and found them and asked them to run because they were already doing wonderful work. Now remember, they take no corporate PAC money at all, so the small donors and the volunteers are going to make all the difference. You made the difference in Ocasio-Cortez, and you can make the difference in these 3 races as well. And I just want to say one last thing here. There was a segment on MSNBC this morning where they did the same old nonsense. They talked about how this unity among progressives might actually divide the Democratic Party, and that the Republicans are looking forward to it. Do you think that the Republicans are attacking Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders because they view them to be non-threats? No, they're attacking them because they think, oh no, that might work. And so for MSNBC to go out there and say these kind of Republican talking points, they say, oh, how are they going to pay for things? But did you ask them how they're going to pay for the Iraq war? Did you ask them how they're going to pay for the Bush tax cuts and then the Trump tax cuts and all the terrible policies that the Republicans, and by the way, sometimes the establishment Democrats have pushed? But whenever we ask to actually help the American people, even people on MSNBC say, how dare you? How are you going to pay for that? It's the first time they ever asked that, as Bush and Trump created massive deficits. And they claimed and they wondered if the progressive movement was going to hurt Democrats. And then they had a warning. They said that people with money might turn away from the Democratic Party. Ooh, that's the whole point. We want people uncorrupted to represent us. By the way, if you don't know, that's part of why Justice Democrats have that name. They're supposed to represent just us. They're not supposed to represent their rich donors. And none of these candidates, James Thompson, Brent Welder, Ocasio-Cortez, Cori Bush, take any corporate PAC money. You have got to go out there and fight for them so they could fight for you.